Breaking: North Korea threatens Japan with nuclear clouds. Millions of Americans have been concerned over tensions with North Korea. The rogue nation has repeatedly demonstrated its willingness to defy global peace, and even now, in the wake of the Las Vegas massacre, they've issued a threat to Japan. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe expressed his disdain for Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, last month at a UN General Assembly. Several countries have banded together and attempted to impose sanctions on the rogue state, but even with their GDP being sliced down to one-third of what it was, North Korea has refused to halt their nuclear weapons research. President Trump has noted that they only understand one thing, and although it may be unfortunate, it seems that he's right. The world has tried diplomacy with North Korea for the past 3 decades to absolutely no avail, and there's not a chance that they're going to change their tyrannical regime to accommodate us now. The world has begun preparing for a devastating conflict, and after Kim Jong-un has threatened to turn Japan into a nuclear cloud, officials have been placed on high alert. Newsweek reports. When Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe took the stage of the UN General Assembly last month, North Korea was watching, and listening. The state-controlled news agency KCNA reacted to Abe's speech on Monday in a scathing article that criticized the Japanese leader for urging the international community to put pressure on Pyongyang rather than engaging in talks. It followed President Donald Trump's anti-dialogue stance on relations with the country. The commentary accuses Japanese reactionaries of using the situation in the Korean peninsula for sinister political goals, referring to a snap election Abe called last week in a bid to consolidate his party's power and pass a constitutional reform. KCNA intimated Japan's leader to think twice about the consequences of his rhetoric. North Korean state-controlled media attempted to intimidate the Japanese Prime Minister, urging him to think twice about the consequences of his words. They went on to threaten Japan with nuclear violence, saying that they would bring nuclear clouds to the Japanese archipelago. Japan will be engulfed in flames in a moment, North Korea said, if the Japanese people are offered in sacrifice owing to a handful of militarist reactionaries' political aim. While high-level intelligence has confirmed that North Korea likely has hydrogen bombs at their disposal, many are skeptical as to the validity of their threats. Japan is currently sitting on the UN Security Council as a non-permanent member, serving a 2-year term. Other members of the Security Council, which include China and Russia, and have recently voted unanimously on a series of measures targeting North Korea's exports and foreign revenues, were targeted in an editorial published on the Minju Joseon, the official newspaper of the Cabinet of North Korea. The paper accused the Security Council of being a marionette of the U.S. Since UNSCOK's all the requirements of the U.S., Trump, an old war maniac and gangster, is going on the rampage with powder-reeking remarks even in the sacred UN arena, the editorial read, adding the misbehavior of UNSC playing to the tune of the U.S. will result in undermining its confidence before humankind, which will lead to the end of UNSC's existence. North Korea's rhetorical attacks against the U.S. and its allies also included the South Korean government. Leaflets found in Seoul over the weekend likely sent from Pyongyang described President Moon Jae-in as a shaggy dog of the U.S., NK News reported. An editorial published on the Rodong Sinmun, the official newspaper of the ruling Workers' Party of Korea, threatened that South Korea would suffer the nuclear disaster together with their master should they dance to the tune of war played by Trump. As tensions rise, President Trump continues to pour more funding into the U.S. military. Record numbers of North Korean citizens have joined the army. President Trump and Mad Dog Mattis have announced their willingness to use violence, and the fate of the world hangs on a thread. While many believe that North Korea would never start a third world war, others have claimed that they just might. It's certainly true that Kim Jong-un's military doesn't stand a chance against the U.S., but with a psychopath in power, you never know what he's willing to do next. If you think that President Trump should show North Korea no mercy, please give this article a share. Thank you and God bless.